Hello and welcome to the mecaniquesportive YouTube channel. This is Nicholas and today I'm presenting the new Volkswagen T-ROC in a color I love. It's bright, the sun is shining, it feels good, my friends. Quick tip interruption on the channel. Let's return to the T-ROC in Portugal. Here it is. The new T-ROC 2026. Several million units have been sold so far. It's a top seller in France along with Volkswagen's Polo. Well, the T-ROC is a compact SUV, smaller than the Tiguan, bigger than the T-Cross with a slightly longer shape. Now, it's gained 12 centimeters, yes, because some people thought it might be a bit too small, a little too compact for an SUV. So, they've added more space. That means more space for the trunk, more space for you. For your knees, that's 30 more liters in the trunk. We'll see what happens. Do you know me? For those of you who follow the channel regularly, don't hesitate to subscribe. It's really important to me. So the features of this new T-ROC 2026, it's now 4 meters 37 long, so it's quite a bit longer. 1 meter 83 wide and 1 meter 57 high. So it's still a compact SUV format that's easy to drive anywhere. And that's still the big advantage of this car. It has been restyled. The front and rear are redesigned. There's a new color, including this two-tone. And the interior is also updated. I'll show you its new dashboard again. The seats even have a massage function. Now we still have several packages and this new T-ROC starts at 29,990 euros. There will be 4 engines, but only 2 will be available at launch. These are the most well-known versions from the Volkswagen Group, with the new 1.5-liter turbocharged stratified injection of O2 engine. It's a mild hybrid for now with a 1.5-liter engine and 2 power levels. The full hybrid will arrive in 2026 or 2027, either 116 horsepower or 150 horsepower. As we're testing it today, it's still the direct shift gearboxes that allow us to have automatic transmissions, and now all T-ROCs will necessarily come with automatic transmissions, since it will be either these mild hybrids here, which are really very mild hybrids, or the full hybrid versions that will arrive. We know that it's also the 1.5-liter engines. So I guess it will be like the plug-in hybrid versions, but with smaller batteries. Full hybrid is a new feature, and Volkswagen will be the first to introduce it across the entire family with the T-ROC, including Audi, Volkswagen, Cupra, Seat, and more, etc. So that will be a good thing. A lot of people were waiting for the full hybrid. It should also greatly lower fuel consumption, since we know these mild hybrid versions are already very good. On the other hand, unfortunately for some, the diesel is disappearing, as well as the powerful versions. In France, they probably won't be sold because of the heavy penalty, but there will still be a 2-liter gasoline version with 200 horsepower. But in France, it's tough because we elect people who oppose us having nice cars. I'm just saying, you can vote for anyone, but you'd be better off voting for me next time. You really should. I'm just saying, Nicholas President. That would be nice. We'd have an extraordinary country under my dictatorship. Gasoline for 98 unleaded can't exceed €1. We'll end up like Dubai, needing clean cars and having unlimited highway zones. Don't hesitate about my program. Tell me in the comments what you want. Well, otherwise, we also have this new yellow that's now standard. As for the trims, we still have the entry-level version called T-ROC, that's still the name. For example, with the Golf, there's the standard trim and the life trim. Steel in the R-line, which I'm presenting today, is the top version with many options. For example, today we have IQ, light matrix headlights and a long light strip, which has also appeared on the T-ROC. Here then, it's not mandatory. You don't necessarily have to have it. Depending on the versions, the entry-level version will just have plastic here. This R-line trim features little X's, little cross patterns, a bit everywhere in a glossy finish. Otherwise, it will be more traditional plastic and a rather specific front end, and still these R-line versions, with bigger kinds of air intakes that are completely closed. Not even an air curtain or anything else on this car. You can clearly see the sharply defined flat hood today. With this yellow version, the yellow really adds a little extra touch of energy and fun. As I was saying, under this hood, 116, 150 and future engines with 130 and 170 horsepower. A fully loaded version costs 42,005 euros for this car. As for the features, it has an 11-meter 11 turning diameter. Here we can add 50 liters of gas and see how it performs on fuel consumption. I'll show you around the vehicle starting with the full tank. As you can see, it has a very flat hood and really looks like an SUV. even a 4x4. From back in the day, we have a pretty continuous angle here, which shows us the logo that's backlit in the front, backlit in the back, and the light strip that comes along. Here's just the signature, for example, with lights on the sides. Front camera, we have a 360-degree camera pack with cameras under the mirrors and at the back as well. This large grille makes the car look wider, especially with the yellow and black. I think the contrasting accents are beautiful. And actually, here, everything you see, everything is painted. No unsightly plastic, no raw or cheap plastic. It's really nice. Anyway, it gives a nice finish. On this R-line, the sensor is right in the center. We have Travel Assist 2.0 for driving aids, and it works very well. I was surprised while driving, since I just picked up this car yesterday at Lisbon Airport. We came here to Cascais in Portugal. You know the destination, since you saw me on Clio 308 and here. In 1 week, I made 3 round trips between Paris and Lisbon. I'm happy to try this. Great sunshine, feels good. A minor detail is the IQ Live lights. So we have full LED here, but there's something that appears like a bulb, though it's actually still LED. At night, you'll see, I try it. We have a directional projector that's also matrix. You can get all this in packs. There are several packs. Discover Pro, Techno Life, and Techno Pro. R-line and style, so this allows you to have big option packs on the side. First, we can see the new 20-inch rims. Rim styles will be available in 17, 18, 19, and 20-inch options. They are beautiful. The black diamond finish contrasts really well. It stands out great. The wheel arches on the side aren't painted, unlike the front, which we expected to match. But here, it's plastic, a bit textured with the side skirt as well, which has this finish. Next, the side. We expect simplicity from Volkswagen and not too much change. Volkswagen stays understated. It has to appeal to everyone, so it should be pretty neutral. As for the colors, there will be options, blue, black, and so on. I would pick this color. I love the two-tone look, especially the all-black upper part. And the little detail is this accent here in yellow, which adds a nice extra touch to echo this pillar. Here we have rubber seals all around the windows and still this part here, shiny and lacquered, with the little Volkswagen logo repeated right there. The handles are very standard fridge-type handles with locking. There's keyless entry, a fuel cap on this side with 50 liters capacity, and 4 disc brakes. The little R-Line badge, if you chose the R-Line trim, right here, roof rails. So let's see, yes, you can really put a roof box here, and the rear is kind of like a little fastback coupe. That's what they call it these days. So it has a really sloped window. Personally, I would have preferred it a little longer and more square, more SUV style. By the way, are you more into standard SUV style or coupe SUV? Because all the brands are starting to make coupes now. 4. Porsche, Volkswagen, BMW, Mercedes, Peugeot, and so on. Is that your favorite look? I still prefer the straight back finish, like the old 4x4s. I really liked that. Or the station wagons. I love station wagons, with that really straight finish at the back when it's well done. Oh yeah, and a wheelbase of 2.63 meters. You know I love the 3/4 rear view. Here it is again, especially with this prominent feature. So if you choose black, it will be much less noticeable, but especially in yellow, it really gives us a true style. Long light strip on this version, also with the Volkswagen logo at the back, backlit in red. That's something that's been around for a while now on Golf, etc., Tiguan. I think it was the Touareg that introduced it first, if I'm not mistaken. The T-ROC marked in black really stands out. It contrasts well with, for example, up there, the tinted windows, plus this strip that's in a black section. We find small reflectors here, and the lower part is black too. Up front, everything's nicely painted and top-notch. Plus, there's this slanted window with an extremely practical wiper. The third brake light on the upper part, the shark fin antenna up there, and a very long spoiler here. The airflow is mostly rounded, and the side skirts are also rounded, despite being airline trim. There's no exhaust pipe now. It's no longer politically correct to have exhaust pipes. They're hidden, but it's nice. It gives a little sporty diffuser look on the airline. A little thing to note is the 10 here that you now find, plus some small LED parts on the sides as well, which are quite nice. With the IQ light, if you chose the Q-Light information technology package, the rear view camera is here, and next to it is the trunk opener. Plus, it's motorized, which is a real advantage. I find having a trunk that expands by 30 liters very convenient. As I was saying, we have this upper part roughly at the loading threshold, and you can remove this part as well, right underneath here. As you can see, we have the spare wheel compartment, which is empty, so it gives you a lot of storage space here where you can put a spare wheel. I'm more of a spare wheel guy, you never know. even though I rarely get a flat, knock on wood. This volume is 475 liters. Now, the rear seat is in a 60-40 split. Top tether ISOFIX on both end seats and a center mount are visible. We have a kind of ski hatch by folding down the entire center section. And the trunk? You know me, right? Yes, there we go. I'm going to go get in there. Then there's the bag with the computer. It fits well, is spacious, and there's plenty of room underneath. Enough for a small suitcase. Not bad. Let's look inside. So, how does it look in the back seats? As for the door, we have a door with a kind of semi-leather that's well integrated. You might think it's plastic, but when you touch it, it's not. And on the top and bottom, there's a more standard, slightly textured plastic. In short, simple, but there's plastic pretty much everywhere. Then there's a section of plastic here. And the seats. On this R-line trim, we have a specific upholstery with a special fabric and some unique patterns. With a kind of Alcantara suede here, also some semi-leather and stitching. It's actually pretty well finished. I'm entering from this side since the car faces the sun. So this seat is a little further back than when I'm driving, so I'm going to close up here. Nicola is 1.80 meters. I raise my headrest a bit. What's great is that at 1.81 meters, even sitting upright, I don't touch the top. The windows here are large and well placed, which allows me to have a nice view of the outside, even up front here. It's pretty interesting. The seats at shoulder level are quite low. For me, that allows me to sit higher than what's in the front, which gives a bit of a theater-like seating position. And I'm better off. I have a better view of the road. I know what's going on. I hate being a passenger because I get car sick. But I can't stand it, even in the front quite often. It lets me engage more with what's happening, which isn't bad. Like I said, this seat is set much farther back, by at least this much. Compared to when I'm driving, I have space around the footwells. You can get underneath because the seats are raised on rails by at least this much. It's not an electric car. That allows for a lot of space here. And since my feet are lower, I have really good support at the knees. Since this is the R-line trim, it's raised here, which gives me really good support at the seat, and they're crossed at the backrest. So very good lateral support and also for the back. Top. In any case, for the rear, I think this is one of the best upholsteries. I'm sitting pretty upright. Maybe I would have liked it if it could recline a little, which would have made it really top-notch. The bench here, so it doesn't move forward. It's solid underneath because there's a gas tank right here. That's pretty good. I have the tab here, thank you Volkswagen for doing that, and in fabric too, which gives me a good grip and keeps it from slipping. Double cup holders, as we know. And on top of that, they've put them exactly at the same height as the armrest, which is just perfect. I don't understand why, but here I'm really at the top of the top. They've stopped putting the two little pockets up top. They've just left the big pocket in that spot. I see a top tether anchor here for the GeoFix. So we can fit 3 child seats since there are 2 top tether anchors in the back and this one. 2 USB-C ports offer fast phone charging. There's also 3-zone climate control, 2 in front, 1 in back. You can adjust the fan speed, only the temperature you want in the back. And to get through, however, there's a really big central tunnel here. This time, since the rails are mounted on these kinds of raised supports, for the person in the middle, they'll have to spread their legs a little. I don't know if you can see me here. I'll show you again. Here, I'll touch the back since this seat is higher and less scooped out, letting me sit higher in front and see everything ahead. However, this time I'm touching the seat. On this side, I'm driving and have plenty of space, so this person sits far back. The backrest and seat are much firmer. The seat offers some support, but the backrest less so as it's curved. Still, the 2 side seats for 4 people are excellent. Look at this setting. Every time it's great. I've already shown you quite a few cars here. Here you can really see this very pronounced hood. I'm taking you around again like this because it's always different. When you see we're walking around together, it really gives you a good idea of the proportions, what it looks like when it's actually moving. Here, it almost looks small like this, but actually it's not. However, when you get to the back, it's wide. And actually, the strips also contribute to this widening in terms of design. On the sides, the small arches are more pronounced. This line here, which goes down into the door there, and then along the bottom. Something quite simple, but rather well done, as you can see right here. So the door is standard. As I was saying, there we go. Well, it's not happy because yes, shh, there you go. You can see a perforated interior. There are LEDs inside. It's padded. It's a nice finish. There's a leather feel everywhere. It's perforated all the way to the armrest. The new feature is also this new handle that opens like this. The idea is to pull here and push with your elbow here. You finish with your hand. The mirror controls are here. The window controls and the rear window lock. The mirrors, the defogger. For winter, you turn here. It heats up the small mirrors. The remote trunk release. You get used to it here, like at Volkswagen. We have door pockets with plastic inside. Normally, you can fit a 1.5-liter bottle here. That's pretty good. For the lights, I suggest keeping them on auto. You can also turn on the front and rear fog lights if needed. A big new feature on this T-ROC is the fabric part that now goes across the whole cabin. So it's fabric here, you can feel it. It's nice, it's a change. This is the R-Line version. We haven't seen the standard one yet, but it's better than before, and it almost feels like we had some kind of storage here, like in utility vehicles. But no, not at all. It's just for the air conditioning, and we have a head-up display that appears here for me. I'll move back as far as I can to give you a better view, but then I can barely reach the pedals. So even if you're 2 meters tall, it'll be fine for you. To start this car, put your foot on the brake and turn on the ignition. I'm not starting it fully, just turning on the ignition. You can see that we find this dial button here, which also appeared in the group. So with a screen here, and on top of that, this screen is touch sensitive. You can select moods, volume, and driving styles. We'll revisit this part later. We're already familiar with the steering wheel, and it looks like this. What's great is that now we've gone back to real buttons for everything related to volume. The driving assists, and on this side, the menus that will change on this screen. Right here, you can see the flat part, the round part, and the perforated sections. So to get a good grip, it's a capacitive steering wheel for the driving aids, their R-Line, which is mentioned right here. The paddles behind the steering wheel, since you can switch to manual and then the gearbox. On this side, drive forward, reverse backward, and park this way. On the other side, we have the turn signals, the windshield washer, and the wipers, which will adjust with this. Sorry, it's beeping. I'm going to start it. Don't move anyway, then I'll get it started. That way, at least it will stop beeping. It was telling me the battery is dead. The poor thing has been on this whole time, so I could show you the lights, so the screen here. So don't pay attention to the consumption. The car has been running idle for a little while now. With a full tank, it shows 690, so about 700 kilometers matches what I did yesterday with the temperature and info. Here, we have gauges like this. Then we can change the views and the information we're going to have. For example, with the global positioning system or something else, more or less global positioning system, the sportier version. We've covered everything. We can now change the side information and add more details here. Personally, I like to keep my trip info in the same on the left. I can also choose options like consumption or average consumption. Personally, I like to have the real-time consumption, plus my trip, and also all the consumption info. I'm mainly interested in saving money and consuming less. Notice the stitching here and on the steering wheel. The steering wheel is adjustable in height and depth. The pedals look like this on the R-Line version, so they're metal. Then, this screen here, we're familiar with it. Now available on all cars, it's 13 inches and up to 15 on some models. The home version includes widgets, shortcuts, and vehicle status. You can configure the main screen. There are shortcuts you can put up there. Then we have the application buttons. Adjust the car's colors here if you want. You can choose to customize if you like. The brightness, I like to leave it on blue, that's what works best. And the brightness. Next, I'll show you the ambient lighting when we leave the airport and in the tunnels. Phone, CarPlay, Android Auto, all wireless as usual. The vehicle settings, right here. We can set shortcuts up there, like for assistance we want to disable each time, overspeed alert, and so on. I can put a shortcut for the assistant here with everything, and come back here, where the car settings are with auto hold, etc. Same for the overspeed alert. You can put it here and disable it directly from this spot. So these are little shortcuts. I hadn't seen it before, but you have the car shortcut here. And I removed the overspeed alert start and stop. You can disable it, but don't do it because the point of this mild hybrid car is that feature. The air vents here, the air vents well hidden there on the sides, speakers, a little bit everywhere. Our usual sound system is softer today. Autobone and Armand Kardon are also options. Next, we find the wireless charger. So they did some funny little things. They thought, hey, look, let's put some little swimmers. It makes swimming lanes. There you go. That's their little thing. Tricky. A spot here, same thing. Everything is nice and rubbery. It keeps the phone still. Here, it's a fast wireless charger. So here you start the car, the volume here, which is for the music. When I press, I then switch to the drive modes. Comfort, sport, individual, and eco on the other side. Sliding like this lets me change my settings. Enjoy, minimal energy, medium, or deactivate all. And I don't remember which one. Think. Let's put energy back on. There, energy, for example, which turns everything red. And if I set it to minimal, it's blue. Oh no, that's minimal. Oh right, so these are even more different themes. We'll leave it on lounge. The parking brake is here. The key, it's always the same in the Volkswagen group. It'll never change. A little compartment here with candies. Thanks to the Volkswagen teams who know us. Those who know my videos at Volkswagen, they're usually the only ones who add that. Plus, these candies for sale are perfect. We also have deep storage here and there. A little thing I mentioned to you in the videos. We have something here to put your parking disc. I think it's the German format. We don't have that in France. You can also store loyalty cards, tokens for shopping carts, or small coins here. That's interesting. So, under the armrest slides. And as usual with Volkswagen, you can adjust its height with the notches. And that's really ideal. And you lower it like this. I haven't shown you the front seats yet. I'll quickly get into the car. R-line seat. Look, that's pretty nice. This Alcantara suede armrest is comfortable. Thanks, Volkswagen. It's rare in cars and adjustable too. The same textured star-like pattern appears in the back, giving a starry feel. The tap tether and ISOFIX mounts are here as well. What I really like about Volkswagen is this large glove compartment where A4 sheets fit like this. This is what the road books look like and what they give us. If you want to go on little road trips in Portugal, there are maps with nice routes near Lisbon. You can follow the coast, the shore, etc. with little photo spots. So that's basically how our test drives go. And stay tuned. Here's the T-ROC I have if you want to try it. A screenshot or pause, that way you can have all the information. And on the other side, basically everything that's standard. There you go, there you go. We're packing up, as you saw, the big A4 sheets. It fits here, the mirror here, with a fairly thin edge that tints automatically. And on the top, always the touch LEDs. Here, the Save Our Souls button is all lit up and the open door thing there. And maintenance, what's that? I don't know exactly. Is it when, do I want it to light up or not? When I open the hatch, for example, I put it on off like this when I'm going to open say. So I think it would do the opposite. Now it doesn't light up. Same, well, it sets itself automatically and turns on at night. Here we have the nice white LED with the mirror, the card holder, and on the other side, same thing, the mirrors are pretty good. We have the blind spot warning. I have the curved corner on my side, but not on the other side. And there you go. Let's go. Come on, let's try this car. Come on, here we go again. We visited Lisbon from the airport several times recently. In 1 week, I made 3 round trips between Paris and Lisbon. For the Clio 6, the new 308, and now the new T-ROC. It's good because we're really getting to know the area, so here we go. I adjust my seat higher and move it forward. The steering wheel is adjustable in all directions. I like it to be high. Here we go. You can see a bit of the interior lighting. So we have some on the doors here through the Alcantara, a kind of Alcantara. No, it's a kind of perforated leather. Here as well, which I couldn't show during the presentation, but you can see in the doors and side trim. You can see it there running along and at your feet. It's actually nice. Drive. So now, like on all the new cars from the Volkswagen Group, it's right here. Up, I put it there. I'm going to reset all the consoles from the start. Normally, we even have other information for the long term. I'm going to reset the long term. Drive forward. I click a second time and switch to sport mode. Now I'm back in drive. Here we go. As soon as I release the brake pedal, the car moves forward. We have a kind of creep like in an electric car. We're going to turn off the overspeed alert, the drowsiness alert, and the fatigue alert. We turn all that off every time. It's actually better. Then I go back to my navigation. Here we go. The exit. What's great is that the engine is very quiet. For example, every time I brake, it shuts off. It's this way. Don't damage the beautiful rims, they're gorgeous. Today, yes, it's pretty easy. The steering is nice, the wheel is quite big. It's different from the small Peugeots. That's where I'm not a fan at all. The suspension feels comfortable when going downhill. I have to admit, the engine feels good. I hear it running, or BXs and such. There are some very beautiful vehicles in this parking lot here in Lisbon. And so there, every time you let go, up, it cuts the engine. Every time I slow down, it cuts the engine. So that's actually pretty good. Every time I'm at a stop with the engine off, we're just going to tell him to be quiet too. Thank you, ma'am. That's very kind. We turn the card over here. The big advantage of improved hybrids like this? It's precisely this aspect. It shuts off much faster. The disadvantage of the enhanced mild hybrids is that there are far fewer phases where, when you accelerate, it's electric. It mainly shuts off during deceleration and when stopped. That's something, at least. And especially since this engine is very economical, we've already tested it on many Volkswagen Group cars. Volkswagen Aktiengesellschaft. And here it's the Evo 2 engine, so the very latest evolution. And they will also soon come with fully hybrid engines, like the ones we know from certain brands. All right, I'm out of the chaos. Let's go there. I think we're going to head out. Normally it's straight ahead with some small stretches of highway around here. So we're going to make sure north isn't always pointed. We'll put it back in automatic mode. By the way, do you use the car's global positioning system? We use it each time because brands usually set up waypoints for our test drives. Do you use the car's global positioning system or your phones for navigation? I have to admit, most of the time I use Google Maps or Waze. Thanks, but I know that some brands say, in the end, almost nobody uses them. For entry-level vehicles, you can remove the screens or just use your phone. So, how does this car perform? So here, when we accelerate it a little, this 4-cylinder, 1.5-liter engine is well known in the Volkswagen Group and feels good here too. Whenever I let off like this, I'm totally freewheeling. And above all, the engine is off. So every time the engine is off, there's zero fuel consumption. When I brake, for example, like now, I'm going downhill. Well, the engine will restart to give you engine braking. Since it's not a real full hybrid, we don't have a big battery, so we can't regenerate using an electric motor. There's a small one that will regenerate a little bit, but it's gonna be huge, like a real full hybrid then. Engine braking occurs when we slow down with the engine running and don't use any gas. And every time it thinks, for example, here, I release the accelerator pedal, that would be a moment when, if the engine is running, it would be using gas. So it will cut the engine every time. It's blocked. Let's go. Yeah, it's picking up pretty well. There's power, 150 horsepower. That's more than enough. Let's drive like this. There's some traffic. Leaving Lisbon at 4:30 post-meridian. Obviously, it's not ideal. Well, since we're stuck in traffic, what I'm going to do is choose my little travel assist mode here. I'm going to select it, and I'll say, go ahead, drive here. It read the 60 sign, it immediately detected the lines in the steering wheel, and now I'm being driven. Adaptive cruise control, braking, and so on. You get automatic transmission issues, of course, so on these new models, so same thing for it. Normally it's supposed to cut the engine and so on. For example, we're moving forward normally, and the car will stop on its own without me doing anything. Of course, as usual, I will. Oh no, it's still revving. It didn't cut off because actually it hasn't really stopped yet. There are Dragobus. I love that. So for the restarts, like I was saying, it's honestly not bad. 90 here, she got the 90 sign. She's gonna go straight to 90. That's also quite a big advantage. At 90, I'm doing 84. Someone cut in front of her at the last moment. She's slowing down and still detecting many things. It's just that the person shouldn't really come in at the level of the wings. I love the yellow side, it feels good and nice. We're in Portugal, there's color, buy colorful cars. Please bring color back to France. There's really a lack of colorful cars. So at 90 kilometers per hour, I'm at around 1900 revolutions per minute, but I don't know what gear I'm in. Then the car handles itself very well. Otherwise, I can press the right paddle, it tells me I'm in 7th, and it switches back to manual. To turn off manual mode, you hold down the paddle, it switches back to D, or you can just click on D. You can also switch to sport mode, as I mentioned, by turning the lever here, or the car also goes into sport mode when you press the accelerator pedal all the way down. Now we're going to go through a little tunnel, automatic headlights, all that. The ambient lighting will turn back on here. I need to go left here. The ambient lighting is perfect. Up, a little nighttime vibe. The LEDs up there are still lighting up, and I'm being driven on the highway and elsewhere. It's actually pretty nice. Now it's asking me to take the wheel again, but without a loud beep. Just a small warning on the screen. I have my high status display. Honestly, it's very, very pleasant to drive. Come on now. Normally it's going to stop. Come on, stop. No. It didn't really stop, but I checked for you 30 seconds ago and it had stopped. The engine does shut off as soon as the car is stopped. In this kind of car, it tells me to take back control. It's been a while since I last used it. Our capacitive steering wheel requires hands-on driving, and it works well, which means you just don't have to keep forcing it all the time. For it to detect your presence, just your hand on the steering wheel is enough. Same thing, the steering wheel with the little perforations and everything here is very pleasant. For example, I'm going uphill at just over 2,000 revolutions per minute. So the car's under a bit of strain. Because it's all uphill, the engine stays really very quiet. Someone cut me off. She slowed down a bit and I thought something wasn't right. This engine is pleasant, honestly, to tell you the truth. I'm straightforward when there's noise. I tell you, wow, what a crash. How did she do that with the car? Oh, wow, it just happened. The guy's inside. He must have arrived, but like a fool. Oh, wow. Knock on wood, so far nothing much has happened to me in the car, which is pretty good. Oh, wow, the guy had turned around on the highway like that, going down into the wall. Voice from the left. But like I was saying, if it makes noise, etc., I'll let you know. For example, if I step on it now, you can hear it. I think that even like this, it still remains relatively well soundproofed. So in my opinion, the whole dashboard area is well padded, etc., And that made it so I was dead. It's comfortable and pleasant to use. So you definitely hear it. Afterwards, people who buy a gas-powered car also want that engine feel and everything. There are some brands that purposely make engine noise. For example, sports cars intentionally add engine noise inside the cabin. They add it through the speakers to make it feel like you have a big engine, which is enjoyable. A car like this, we want to have a little engine noise. We want a sound that's nice, but not too overwhelming. Another great thing in Portugal is the Via Verde. So when you have the electronic toll, you don't need to stop. You go through at 60 kilometers per hour and there's no barrier. Well, it's so much better than in France. Honestly, France, like I said, we're really behind on a lot of things. Good. So now we're getting onto the highway here, all right? I'm going to speed up again and we'll go around here. We're getting some wind noise at 110, so I'll slow down. We're making a small U-turn. Then there should be more highway ahead. Roads. What we're going to do is right here. We have a sharp turn. We're going to test the handling, so be careful not to end up like that other car. So the seats. I thought they would hold me a bit better. They're a bit wide and I slide to the side a little. Strange. Yet in this R-line trim, I thought they would be much tighter. In the end, I have good support for normal driving, which is great though. People just show up however they want. However, in really sporty turns, it's pretty open. So you'll need to brace yourself well with your left foot. Come on, let's speed up. We'll reach 120. And we're off. Driver assistance. I've never seen a car detect lines this quickly. You can tell they've really worked hard on this version of Travel Assist. At 120 kilometers per hour, I'm at about 2,200 revolutions per minute, which is still reasonable. We're accelerating. Let's take it up to 130. This really puts us on a typical highway route back home. At 130, I'm at 2,200 revolutions per minute. The best part of 7th gear is we're at low revs, even after climbing uphill for a while. Then, with some downhill ahead, fuel consumption will balance out. Because right now, going uphill, we're using a bit more fuel, and I admit I've been accelerating a bit, driving a little more dynamically, and so on. I'll leave the fuel consumption as it is. 130 kilometers per hour. It's great for soundproofing, even with some wind noise. You notice it a bit at 110 and 130, but overall it's honestly excellent. Very well soundproofed. On a smoother asphalt than before, the rolling noise is the same, relatively well contained. It's a good car, and let's be honest, Volkswagen has always known how to make good cars. Well, here it's the same thing. We're dealing with very decent cars, and pleasant to drive. For example, going downhill here, engine braking isn't needed since it knows I'm under speed. If I need to accelerate again, it just restarted the engine, but same thing, it goes into coasting phases like this, and it's pretty nice. So I'm looking forward to seeing the final consumption. Concept, what do you think it'll be? 0 to 100, 1, 2, 3, pedal to the metal. It always takes some time to start up before going again. 55, 61, 66, 70, 80, 90, and 100. It's okay, it's correct. And so here, it still stays a little high, because it thinks, oh wait, he really pressed it all the way down, so he needs power right now. It's still great. We don't need more, so you really notice it's front-wheel drive. The direct shift gearbox always raises the start a little bit so as not to put too much strain on the gearbox, and in fact to preserve it as much as possible. Maximum, honestly, it works well. We clearly don't need more. I still recommend the 150 horsepower version we have now. The 116 has the same engine. It's just that it's a revised mapping, so basically a reprogramming, and honestly, on any type of road. The T-ROC is still a good car. It's not a Tiguan, which is bigger and maybe a bit heavier. Here, that's exactly the advantage. It's more compact and feels lighter. The yellow color, clearly, I'm a huge fan. Honestly, if there's color in life, it reminds me of my Twigo, but this yellow is much nicer than the yellow on my Twigo. It's good for everything. Let's say it's the perfect everyday car, and even for going on vacation and more. I know it would suit me well. And why not take a road trip in a T-ROC one day? We're getting onto a winding road and it's almost getting dark. How does it feel? So, the steering still feels nice. We've got this big steering wheel that lets us be precise. It's pretty good, so the car has very little body roll. It remains very stable, and under braking, it barely dives. It's really nice if I go faster here. Like I said, the seats are a bit open. We still have some support down here, so you just need to keep your hips close here, then it's more open at the top. And even when I do this, the car barely rolls. You can feel that it combines both comfort and a bit of dynamism at the same time. But it doesn't encourage you to drive fast, actually. It encourages you to drive smoothly. You know how to round corners smoothly and cleanly. In motorsports, some drive cleanly and end up faster than others. I know that's the case for me. There are people who are very aggressive, etc. As for me, I know that by being very clean, by taking nice lines, etc. That lets me go faster than some people on the track. I think you should adopt that philosophy in life as much as possible. It's almost night now. Let's not kid ourselves. Let's forget about the little bike. The pickup, as I was saying, is more than enough. Even for small mountain roads like this, it's pretty nice. But on the other hand, just admire this scenery. I'm taking you to my favorite spot on this Portuguese coast where I told you in the Clio video that I brought some friends. Because here, it's magnificent. I had never been here at sunset, and now I can just tell you that it's even more beautiful than usual. I'm just going to try to turn around here to get you some nice little shots because I have to admit, it's really, really, really cute. The backup camera works pretty well in low light. Careful, let's make sure to settle here in the grass and not get stuck. And just position it properly. Whoa, oh no, it's happening again, but with some torque, everything's fine. And now, I'm going to take a couple of shots for you because it's really, really beautiful. Make sure your wheels are straight. Perfect. I'll step out and get a few shots for you. So it seems like there's quite a bit of wind. Just like that, there you go, new handle and everything. I'll show you a little bit because it's just too beautiful right now. Look at this, there you go. Wow, the light and everything. I arrived just for this sunset. It also lets me show you the lighting of this car at the same time. Oh, wow. It's so beautiful. Maybe I should have used the polarizing filter for a better windshield, tone, etc. But still, the side and everything, it's really, really, really beautiful. Well, I hope you enjoyed it because honestly, with a little wind, it was chilly. Now, I can show you a bit of the matrix headlights, which light up really well, which adjust when they see cars, or which turn off the high beams and then reactivate them. It works really well. So these are technologies that are now quite common. And the advantage of LED is this white lighting that gives us really, really good visibility in almost all conditions. Here you can see I'm on high beam. Whether it's day or night, it lights up really well. Here, we're really in between. And look, here for example, hop, it dims really well for the little Renault 4 and then hop, it goes back to high beam. Anyway, it lets me give you a high beam test like this, which is pretty rare in reviews. But there you go. We even have, you see, I don't know if you can see, but when I turn, a somewhat directional spotlight. See, hop, left, right. It's not just the car. The headlights also turn when you pass others, lighting only the side. And hop, it slowly returns to full beam. Phew, oh wow. I wanted to take pictures outside. It's very, very windy. It's better inside the car. Anyway, do you know me? All right, let's get going again. So it's, ooh, the music, the sound is pretty good in this car too. It's annoying that you have to turn off the speed limiter every time you start up. All that, drive here, there we go. All right, let's turn. And of course, you know me, as usual, I'm going to do an off-road test for you. Not sure. I don't know if you can see the road there. I don't think so, but right now we're on a completely wrecked road with big holes and big rocks. Honestly, the suspension remains very comfortable. That's the advantage of an SUV. And then, I'm not just gonna throw this away like that. Maybe you can see the road a little better. If I buy an SUV, it's because I'll be able to go off-road or drive on trails without too much trouble. I have to admit, I can do it here, and that's actually pretty nice. Hold on, we're going to do a test on some gravel. Starting on a steep hill, right? It works well. You can't see anything at all now. It's slipping a bit, but the electronic stability program still handles it pretty well. All right, let's go again. We're taking the trellis again to go along the coast, here towards Cache, where it's always really beautiful. There's an incredible wind. So, bad news, we're tomorrow from yesterday for you. That was moments ago, so I returned to the car. Today, I did the introduction for you since we went straight to the airport yesterday. Very, very beautiful night tonight. Unfortunately, the drinks were cleared out last night. Unfortunately. They didn't realize we were using the same cars again today and starting over. So I'm gonna do another loop. The management, the factory where they produce the T-ROC. I'm not sure if it'll be in this video, so I'm telling you now. It might be a separate video where I show the T-ROC's production. We'll be able to film a few things, so it might happen soon. Now I'm heading over there about an hour's drive from here. 60 kilometers. There will be all kinds of roads, and I might try to add a little more, see how it goes. Since I like you a lot, I'm doing a highway test and have covered 68 kilometers, with the first 15 in mixed city driving. I thought I'll drive nearly 100 kilometers on the highway. 53 kilometers remain. I've been going the wrong way for 30 kilometers to return to the factory. That way, I can give you a real consumption figure, and now I can see that on the highway, it's 7 to 8 liters. Depending on the slope, I'm at 6.5 liters now on a slight downhill. But when it goes uphill, it increases to 8.1 or 8.2 liters. I think the highway average at 130 kilometers per hour will be 7.5 to 8 liters, depending on how much you're loaded, if there's a little bit of wind or something else. It really allows me to do this test more thoroughly than most of my colleagues who have done it. You know me, every time, I go all out. So for you, a little comment. It helps me a lot. Also, to give you much more thorough tests than others, who do little 3 or 4 minute tests and give you an approximate consumption. So for me, it lets me give you a real test. Now I'll go 14 kilometers, turn around, then set a steady 90 kilometers per hour, like on a country road. That shows the car's mixed fuel use. Yesterday, I think it was about 7.2 liters. On a mixed route of small mountain roads, some national roads, and a bit of highway at 110, 120 km/h. And here, I see that I'm also at 7.2 liters. Today, we're doing another 61 kilometers and the return trip to check if it balances out, just being honest. Actual consumption is 7.2 liters over 83 kilometers since the start. Right now, I'm still on the highway and I'm going to exit right here. Then from 90. So I'm gonna reset the short-term values to 0, so there, you can see it. My consumption over 86 kilometers is 7.3 liters achieved. Here, I mostly drove on the highway at 120 and 130. Now I'll check since the start. I'm going to reset it if possible. There we go. I still have my long-term average consumption data and can reset it here. There, and now I'm starting again for you. Look at the global positioning system, 35 kilometers to go, and this time, I won't go over 90 kilometers per hour, keeping a steady speed on the highway. We'll see how it goes. In Portugal, stork nests are everywhere on electric poles like that. It's incredible here. Out of 29, the average is 4.8 liters per 100 kilometers. So that was achieved just before arriving here at the toll and at the factory. So there you go. You have the actual readings and I'll give you the combined readings again. So don't move over the long term. We ended up at 6.6 liters, a slight improvement over our previous 7.2 liter average. All right, and here I am at the Volkswagen factory, but I'll give you a debrief on this car later when I get to the airport. Full topic. I think I'll make another separate video about the factory because this video is already too long. You know me, I talk too much. I give you a lot of information. Let me know if you prefer it this long, since some say longer is better.
In blue, I'm making the legend, and it exists in blue.
All right, well, here I am. I've arrived at the airport, so I'm returning. This car don't move. I'll show you live. 2 hours, 160 kilometers. 6.7 liters per 100 kilometers, averaging 80 kilometers per hour. So you have all the data here. Regarding the fuel consumption, so these 6.7 liters seem perfectly reasonable to me on a mixed consumption. And on the trip, like I did yesterday, I was around 7 liters in some. There were more mountains, more cities, and traffic jams. So it will vary depending on conditions. 6 to 7 liters depending on your driving, which isn't bad. It's more than usual for this engine, but remember, this car is larger and more imposing. Personally, I really can't wait for them to release the hybrid versions, which, in my opinion, will be super efficient. This engine performs well given the vehicle's size and weight. Aerodynamically, it may be less advanced than newer cars, but the electric part, it's cool that they didn't force it on this one, and I'm really looking forward to testing this new hybrid engine. 130 or 170 horsepower. To me, this seems like the most interesting Volkswagen Group version coming after this 150 horsepower engine. Well, if you liked it, give it a thumbs up like this and don't hesitate to ask any questions in the comments. And I'll see you soon for the next video. Let me know if there are other vehicles you want me to try. All right, I'm catching a plane. Bye.